his entire team had so many issues. His coach
Right.
got on the chopping block there toward the middle of the season. He handled that incredibly. His wide receiver had some issues, obviously, and he lost Ruggs. And still then he didn't lose his cool. He's had countless people get on his team get arrested for like just terrible things like armed robbery last year. And he had his head on his shoulders straight every single day
Right.
last year. I was beyond impressed by the way he handled himself, by the way that he carried that team by himself, essentially, to the playoffs. I mean, Derek Carr, hats off to Derek Carr. So Derek Carr has made leaps and bounds as a quarterback. And then you look at even their offensive line has made a lot of step ups. I was pretty surprised that this offseason they didn't go after Bieniemy in Kansas City. I was decently surprised at that. I thought for sure, especially once Gruden got fired, that Bieniemy was going to be the guy there because, it's AFC West team. They face him all the time. They clearly know how incredible of an offensive mind that Bieniemy is. So I was really shocked that he didn't get that job. But they've made a lot of steps forward this offseason. They got Devontae Adams, and Devontae just absolutely opens up so many things for your offense. You talked about him being double teamed. That stuff does not matter with Devontae. I have seen plays
Right.
where Devontae Adams is running down the field all by himself, and there are two cornerbacks and a safety trailing his ass trying to catch him. I have seen some crazy stuff with Devontae Adams. So I mean, they got him. They also got Chandler Jones on the defensive side. Max Crosby is coming out to be a great defensive end who could
Facts.
be he's who they got off of the Khalil Mack trade. And
Hmm.
I think at this point they won that trade. So they have just made so many great moves. I mean, so many great moves, and they've got an A quarterback. They've got everything they need. If Josh Jacobs can't get it going with this team, then they got to go elsewhere at the running back position. So I don't necessarily think it all completely rides on Josh Jacobs' shoulders, but I do think he'll play a huge role in this offense, and his run game will be very influential for how good this team is. If the run game is really good, I think this is a Super Bowl team. I think this is absolutely a Super Bowl caliber team. And if his run game is subpar and kind of average, then I think they're a playoff team. I don't know if they're a Super Bowl team. I mean, you need to win a Super Bowl, you need all positions on the football field playing very well, playing great football. And for them to be able to do that, they're going to need Josh Jacobs 100% in tune. And I think Josh Jacobs can be that guy. We've seen Josh Jacobs be that guy, but it's all gonna depend on it's all up to him.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question: is Derek Carr the most overlooked quarterback in all of NFL? Because if we look back at his
Absolutely.
stats, he improves each and every season. And each and every season, his name gets thrown out there for trade bait. Oh, there's somebody better than Derek Carr. Oh, he is like the Las Vegas Raiders don't want him. Yada yada yada. Like, first things first, is he overrated? And why do you think he is consistently trade bait, like on the trading block?
I don't know that, honestly, and I think he is absolutely the most underrated quarterback in the league. I had a hot take last year with my friends that Derek Carr is possibly a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Like for leadership skills, for on the field play, for just the way he handles himself in the worst situations ever. He impressed me so much last year. So while I don't necessarily think he's a top 5 quarterback, um, I think he definitely could be this year. I think he's definitely making a lot of movement towards that, and I think he's for sure in my mind a top 10 guy. If I had to build around anybody in the league, Derek Carr is definitely one of the names I'm thinking about
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
so when people make their top 5 list or like their top 10 list, like a lot of people out there, I'm not going to name names, Brandon Combs, they use a lot of stats, right? They want to say, oh, he threw for 4,000 yards and 15 interceptions, right? Sometimes why you just have to use your eye test, like you have to use your gut, and sometimes you have to throw stats out of it. And you are exactly spot on with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Let me digress a little bit. He is a top 5 quarterback in the AFC. NFL, he's probably
Yeah.
top 7, right? if you look at his stats, he is like 11, 12, 13 range. So like I definitely feel everything that you said. Like his leadership skills, his football IQ, and just the will to win definitely elevates him into a top 5 quarterback in the AFC 100%.